Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Marv B. Thank you for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of reviews or topics, reactions, randomness, out of the blueness, reaction, comedy, review, re-review, list, ranking, whatever, feel free to send it. Either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And then we get the Empty Man. This movie blew. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you like the film, that's cool. There's no wrong answer. To each their own. I thought this movie blew. It's not because I didn't get it. I did it. You want to know how I got it? Because the movie ripped off like 5-7 movies. I mean, there's elements of The Rain. There's elements of films like Butterfly Kisses, which I think is much better. There's elements of Angel Heart. There's elements of In the Mouth of Madness. There's elements of this film I like called The Ritual. Among other stuff. Kind of combined together. For what I understand, this is one of the last films to have the 20th Century Fox logo in front of it before Disney fully bought it. 20th Century Studios, if they do release a movie under that name, under that company name, and there was issues with the release of the film that it was going to be cut down to 90 minutes, and there's some people that liked it, but they didn't know how to sell it. I'm like, yeah, I can see why. Because it's boring as hell. You might as well sold it to A24. They would love this. They would eat this up. Surprised this wasn't A24. With how those crappy films are. Overlong, pretentious, boring. They look pretty, and that's all they can gather. And they remind you of better films. They take their sweet-ass time. And I'm a guy, I love The Shining by Stanley Kubrick. Is that because I like the new Batman, which was longer than this? You know, it was more interesting, it was less boring. This is 2 hours and 17 minutes. And the setup, you have a 20-minute prologue. 4 people go up into the mountains. One hears a hum sound, falls through the ground, sees a weird skeleton. The other 3 find him. He goes, "You touch me, you'll die." They go to a cabin, and then someone does a in the fucking bottle, and then, kind of like The Ring, in a certain amount of days, you're fucked. And the first day you hear him, and the second day you see him, and the third day you smell him, and the fourth day you blow him, and the 5th day you fucked him, and the 6th day he fucks you, and the 7th day, that's the 69 Jamboree, flying V style. But it's 3 days. On the third, I'm gonna spoil it. I don't care. Starting right now, I'm gonna spoil it because I don't give a fuck. Spoiler starting now. By the 3rd day, the guy's still in a shock type of demeanor. The girl, because the guy whispered to her, which was ridiculous. Why is there so many of these horror films? Number one, they're always called the best horror film ever, or the best horror film in the past 10 years. Every new horror film that comes out, it's like, wow, you just said the last 2 films were the best horror film of the past decade. Now you're saying this is the best horror, or all this stuff. It's like they gotta put it up so high. Every step, every movie out of the gate is the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. Are you kidding me? Maybe because I've seen too many films. Maybe because I've seen too many horror films. I don't know. But, oh, it's going to be a cult film. Chris Stuckman told me so. If Chris Stuckman says it, then it must be true. And if you like Chris Stuckman, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with you liking Chris Stuckman. I am not one of them. His reviews never did anything for me. His videos never did anything for me. They're just not my cup of tea. If you like them, that's cool. He's more popular. I don't care. The Transformer films and Avatar were popular. Doesn't mean I think they're good. To each their own. Different subjective nature. We all have it. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, it's going to be a cult film. This ain't going to be a cult film. The reason people checked out because Chris Stupp is a big YouTube guy in movie reviews, so they checked out because he did, and people love it. That's fine. I don't care. I have my own opinion on it. I can form my own opinion, and I'm like, you know what? I'll go watch this film, Butterfly Kisses, which is also about a legend where you're on a bridge and you do something specific, and then this figure follows you until it gives you hallucinations, it's messing with your head. I'm like, even like these weird drawings is like the drawings you would see, and this came out before. This came out before this movie. And I'm sitting there going, this is 2017. Did the movie steal from this? Which I thought this was done better. And of course, like The Rain, where phone call after some amount of days, you're screwed. The Ritual, it made me think of that because, you know, like the first 20 minutes, people going up in the mountains, and then they find these weird skeletons or figures. There's a cult involved, and also it deals very much with grief. Only in The Ritual, I thought that was done much better because I thought it did a much better job detailing to the lead, to us, about the lead's feelings about there's this robbery and he wanted to help but he couldn't help, and that's understandable because it's hard to be a hero and you're frozen and the person, one of his friends died in front of him, and he feels that guilt involved. And it didn't take 2 hours and 17 minutes to tell a story. And the Mouth of Madness, Angel Heart, I mean, I'll get to that later. But the 20-minute prologue, like I said, they go up to the mountain, one hears a hum, falls, weird skeleton, find a cabin, lady takes just a bottle, right, finds this thing, and goes, let me just do this. So then, at one point, the guy... Yeah, a lot of these horror films, like, they're so serious and they're laughable. Why? Hereditary was laughable. When that girl got her head taken off, I laughed my ass off with how clunky that looked and the way that came about. When the ending came about with someone putting the Burger King crown on their head, I was laughing my ass off. Midsummer. When Midsummer's opening happened and how the suicide happened, where someone, she must be the daughter MacGyver. The daughter MacGyver, like, it's not just the car, but the way these pipes went all around the house and through every single door and up a chimney and through a cat's ass. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, it can't be simple. It's got to be so artistic and pretentious, but it becomes preposterous and becomes ridiculous. Because you're taking it so seriously, and that's fine. I don't want jokes in every movie either. But you're taking it so seriously, but you're doing something so preposterous. There's a point in this fucking film where a group of people, as part of this cult, are sitting around a circle, and they have, like, Coca-Cola bottles going this. They're all doing that to their Coca-Cola bottles. I know I didn't say that right. Maybe they're not Coca-Cola, but they look like the glass Coca-Cola bottles. I don't have them, but... Because if you do that... I mean, that's how ridiculous it looks. I'm sorry, it looks ridiculous. A bunch of grown-ass people going... Imagine me go... Alright, hell, I did a bigger bottle, you know. And this is a 6.5 on IMDb. 2 hours and 17 minutes of boredom. I'm not saying I want Michael Bay. I don't. Although I do like some Michael Bay, I'll admit. But after that laughable... Oh, the other laughable thing is the whisper. The guy's whispering to... After he gets a little bit out of his shock, he goes to the girl's ear. He goes... I thought he said... Like, did he say tape measure? Or post office? Are you trying to do the song from Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Boom, boom. It just it sounded ridiculous, the whispering. Am I making it up? For people who get mad at me, am I making it up? Does that not happen? Because it does. And then they're trying to leave the girl that got the whisper onto her after seeing a figure in the snow chase after her. She locks the door. Open up. She opens it. It's her friends. The four of them try to leave. The guy sits, who's in shot, who fell through the hole. He sits down. He's staring up. You know something's going to happen. She's got that look on his face. And she's staring at him. And he's staring at her. He's like, okay, something's going to happen bad. Lo and behold, she stabs their two friends. Then she jumps into CGI land that didn't look that great. Right into CGI land. And then the guy's sitting there. And then, boom, cuts to decades later. Because I think it said 95. And then this takes place 2018. Did 20-minute prologue. And people are praising this prologue to high heaven. Oh my god, I haven't seen a prologue like this since Alien. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And sincerely, if you liked it, that's cool. But then I'm like, what the hell? What's Chris Stubman talking about? Is this the kind of movie he's going to be directing since he got his movie kit started? Great. I'll remember not to see it. So then what happens? We're with this guy who's an ex-cop. Apparently his wife and kid were killed. Spends his birthday alone. And the guy who plays the cop is not bad of an actor. They give him somewhat of a dry, somewhat of a... There's not much to his character, but there's a big point to that, which I'll get to. And then you get a very, very slow, ponderous... Maybe that's giving it too much credit, ponderous. Overlong, snail-paced investigation. Where this woman he knew, that you find out later he had an affair with her while his wife and kid were in a car accident. So he feels that guilt. Her daughter's missing. So the ex-cop asks some people, and this girl says, oh, days ago we were on this bridge, and we, along with her, did the ritual on the bridge. Where, again, it's like this movie, where instead, in this movie, is you have to stare into the darkness for a certain amount of time. It's on a bridge, and you do a ritual, and then the thing starts hunting you and stalking you, and a certain amount of time, you're screwed. But this one actually dealt with it clever meta of what's found footage, what's not, what if reality becomes... You're obsessed with being a filmmaker and found footage, but when you say that the footage is real but other people think the footage is fake, and then you say you're doing it for good intentions because you want to find what happened to these people, but in reality there's a part of you that other people outside are seeing that you wanted to be this filmmaker and you failed and you think this is your big chance. I think there's some pretty good character work and there's some nice meta commentary on the found footage genre, and I think, you know, for like, this film deserves more credit in my opinion. Butterfly Kisses. Much more than this. Again, that's just my 2 cents on it. And then you get this dialogue of nothing can hurt you because nothing is real, and the cop finds some of these teens hung under the bridge, but the one girl, the daughter of this lady he had an affair with, is missing. So he's trying to find her. And when they're on the bridge, he just goes, takes a bottle, goes. I'm thinking, well, what if that didn't happen? What if, this whole plan, what if that didn't happen? But I guess, you know what? I'm going to give the ending away. Because it helps me better tell the story. After, 2 hours of a boring investigation that's not suspenseful, it's not scary, it's not creepy. I don't get the reviews. But again, every horror film that comes out is the scariest movie ever, or is the best horror movie in the past decade. I don't know why that's like a thing now. Like, every time a horror film comes out, I'm like, yeah, okay. You find out, kind of similar to In the Mouth of Madness, or even bits of Angel Heart, which again, I've seen this done, and I've seen it done better. In this case, our lead guy's made up. He is the empty man. That's why his performance is a little bit trying to be more dry, a little bit more. He's not doing a bad job. It's like there's not much to the character, just that's part of the point. He's the empty man. This cult, there's this figure in the hospital, and it's the guy for the beginning of the film who survived of the 4 that were in the mountains. He survived. He's in the hospital. The body's falling apart. It needs a new vessel, new body. It sends these telepathic cues to cult members. And the cult members said, you know what, we're going to do kind of like a golem, but not really. They called it a tulpa, where we think so hard we create a person. Because even the lady goes, when were you born? No, you were born 3 days ago, remember? You were spending a birthday in a diner. Right? You remember that? And all your memories, rewrote it like a script. I'm thinking, okay, so it's like Sam Neill and In the Mouth of Madness. Read any good books lately? I like the color blue. Do you like the color blue? And you get the idea, like, was Sam Neill just a creation? What is reality? And the way Jurgen Prochnow explains it. Like, John Carpenter knew how to handle this. And he didn't need 2 hours and 17 minutes to do it. There's a lot more intrigue and entertainment. I felt more cosmic horror in that than in this. This film was dull, and it was slow, and it was boring, it was uneventful. Again, The Ritual, I got people going out in the mountains, I got the cult, I got these weird, if they're not skeletons, but they're like figures made to creep the viewer out. And yet a character dealing with grief, only he really was dealing with grief, and then dealing with this creature. Well, this is the empty man, shadow man, slender man, might as well call whatever the fuck else. That was a other creature. But The Ritual was a much more satisfying ending. It didn't try to go in so many different directions. This movie thinks it's this bigger picture, and it's just gets more convoluted as it goes along. And the reason he was created 3 days ago is for the empty man, the phantom, to go into his body and use him. Now, yeah, there's also a lot of questions. I mean, they could try to explain it. You don't create this person 3 days ago. Well, why does it have to be 3 days? Yeah, if you do the thing, it takes 3 days, but why does it even a thing in the first place? I mean, the guy got possessed right away as soon as he fell in the hole at the beginning of the film. Didn't take him fucking 3 days to be possessed. He was already possessed, and then took 3 days for the one girl to get fucked up. But he was already possessed. So why? I mean, or if you don't create a shell, just have him be in the hospital. 3 days later, okay, come to this body. Why does the fake body need memories? I know some people say, oh, it deals with grief. And grief loves, but at the same time, if you're just wanting a body anyway, and it's not even a real person, I guess if it's fake made up, then that works as well as the real McCoy in terms of grief and anger. But hell, you can have the guys make him think he's paralyzed and have all the memories. Like, he's paralyzed, he can't move anywhere, and for 3 days he thinks he can't move, and he's fucked in the head, and he's got all this grief. That'd be a hell of a lot more grief, a lot more tension, a lot more turmoil that would feed on this motherfucker. It just seemed like a very overcomplicated ritual. Kind of like the Wicker Man or some of this other stuff. An Angel Heart, where you're with your lead guy, and you find out the lead guy is not who you thought he was. But then Angel Heart had much better... I think it was better directed. I think the music stood out more. The environment of the New Orleans backdrop. And the performances. I mean, Mickey Rourke was outstanding in that movie. And of course, a personal favorite of mine, Jacob's Ladder, from 1990, which I much prefer over this. But I've talked about Jacob's Ladder a lot. And the investigation just was not that interesting to me. Again, we've seen a lot of stuff where it's the Boogeyman, you do something, and days later, I mean, Candyman, the Ring remake, let alone the original The Ring. And the lead's kind of dry and kind of boring, but at the same time, it's not the actor's fault, because he has his little moments, to be fair. I think the actor was not bad at all. It's just, the reason he's not that excellent of a character is because he's the empty man himself. That's the point. Again, that bridge part just reminded me of this movie. It really did. There you go. And like I say, he finds the teen's hun. He finds this cult. The leader is Stephen Root. You know, the guy in Office Space? Take a rich stapler. You better not take a rich stapler. We're going to burn down the building. Don't take a rich stapler. That's Stephen Root. And if you listen to the dialogue enough, you'll get a handling of what the ending's going to be. And pretty much just wanders around. He wanders around here. He wanders around there. He wanders around in this cult. That's where they're doing the... in their fucking Coca-Cola bottles. The glass bottles. And also the empty man. Okay, the villain. If the villain is in this body, and he's got to go to another body. So the guy from the first 20 minutes, who's now in the hospital bed, he goes out and does these things. But isn't that using his energy if this body's breaking apart? So is he using his energy to do these missions? Shouldn't he conserve his energy in case something happens? But I guess that doesn't matter. And also, like, why are there times... Why do you have the scene where the cult members literally chase him? Like, there's a bit where he goes out into the woods, and he sees this big cult worshiping this big thing of fire, and then they turn, and the light goes out, the light goes out more, they just start chasing him, and he gets in the car. He's like, what the fuck is that? But why are these cult members chasing him if they need him? They need the body to be the vessel for later on. Is it just to scare him? I mean, I don't know if it scared him, it just confused him. Oh, that scene's there to hopefully get some creepy factor into it. I'm like, okay, it's a bunch of people in monk uniforms. Hey, how are you? Oomsade, oomsade, oomsade. And then chase the guy. What if the guy actually pulled out his gun and shot? If he realized, oh, the gun doesn't work, or the gun isn't killing anybody, or maybe then he realized there's something going on with reality. But again, maybe it's like all this. If a script was written on this character, does that mean every point he did was programmed to lead up to this point? Like everything was written out for him? Wow, where have I heard that before? In the Month of Madness, like Sutter Kane writing out all the stories in his book. The movie comes out next month. That's what this is like a ripoff of In the Mouth of Madness mixed in with Butterfly Kisses and little elements of again Angel Heart and The Ritual and these directors that don't know how to pace their movies. Not all of you are Stanley fucking Kubrick. I like The Shining. I love Stanley Kubrick. The Shining I can watch and not be bothered by it. And there's other directors that can do it, but not every fucking director is a Stanley Kubrick. I didn't even say his name right. Kubrick, Brit, Fit, Tick, Tip. Tip in my fucking ear. And eat it. It's like that director of Brawl and Cell Block 99. It's like, and I like that movie more than this, but like that director doesn't know how to pace his movies either. Like these directors have to realize, I discovered a guy that liked the Batman and how long that was. Sometimes I can deal with this, sometimes with this, I'm like, I don't think there was enough there. There's not nearly enough there in the running time to warrant that overbearingly long pace. There was not enough meat on the bones, despite, I think, what other people say. And like I said, there's one bit where he goes to this place, and there's a guy on TV, like trying to be a little bit of found footage in the middle of the film, and he drew something on the wall, and who the fuck that guy is, and what the fuck that really had anything to do with anything. It seemed like a non sequitur. It seemed like, let's stop the movie here, show a little bit of found footage, so that he looks at a picture on a wall. You could cut that out, it would not do anything to the story. It would not affect the story one bit. I could see why some people behind the scenes said, what was Cinema Score? I think when this released, it got like a D+. Granted, that's not saying much because some films, I'm like, they got an A+, so I know. Same with IMDb. I don't know why I keep using them, because there's so many times I disagree with them too. I know. I don't know, it's just a force of habit that's hard to break. And then how does the movie end? He goes to the hospital. The daughter he's looking for is part of the cult and tells him the truth. We made you. We made you. 3 days ago. You're an empty shell, the empty man, waiting for you to get filled up. Not the prison way. Prison bitch way, but different fill. And not DSP, I mean like different filling. We conjured you into being, into becoming reality. Then he's in this vision where he's in like a basement. He's being chased by this dark figure. The dark figure grabs him and pukes in his mouth. He pukes in his fucking mouth. That's what I mean. This film, it's so intense. We got a monster puking in the guy's mouth. That's near the end of the movie. Puking in the guy's mouth. We got... These are the whispers. We got, and And I'm supposed to take this shit fucking seriously. Give me a fucking break. At least if a film has other moments of humor, it's like, okay, it's levity amidst the horror. This is not that case. I don't think it's as original as people make it out to be. It definitely was not as interesting to go over 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours for. I will never see this film again. Gladly. Yeah, you tell me how wrong I am. I didn't get it, whatever. All these films I mentioned, The Ritual, In the Mouth of Madness, Butterfly Kisses, Angel Heart, The Ring, all these movies, in my opinion, are much better, and you can watch all of them, any of them, some of them, and to me, it's a much better experience than this. I don't see what's so scary about that, what's creepy about it. I'm glad it didn't have jump scares. I'll give one positive. A second positive, there's some nice cinematography, lighting. That bit I mentioned where when the cult are worshipping the fire into the sky and then they turn and the guy looks and then we see the camera look and the lights dim and then you see a bunch of figures. But again, this didn't really come off as scary to me. Like the guy took a step back and then like this 50, 70 people, they take a step. Then he takes a step, then they go. I'm like, what is this, red light, green light? Fuck. But, again, this sounds familiar. It sounds like A24 horror film where it's a movie that's shot well. It seems like if a horror movie is shot well, it'll get the praise. So, for all horror film directors, just make sure you shoot the scenes well. Make sure the cinematography is on point, and you will make it. And the horror film of today. Again, if your film, well, sadly there have been exceptions that were shot well, they didn't make it, but you have a good chance if your film is shot well, like this or A24 horror film, you don't get far, and at least with praise from horror fans. And again, if you liked it, that's cool. Teach their own. Don't take it personal. What I say, what I do, don't take it personal. It's all subjective. We all have our different tastes. This is just my taste. And to me, it tastes like shit. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Ooh. The Shadow Man, Slender Man, the Empty Man's coming. And the fucking title's stupid too. The Empty Man. I get when the story-wise call that, but the movie's called The Empty. Hey, one ticket for the Empty Man. It's just like, I don't know. Especially when you had all those movies like the Bye Bye Man and Slender Man and all that stuff. You probably could have thought of a better title too. Just saying. And I'm sorry, Chris Stubman, this ain't gonna be a fucking cult film. I guarantee you there's people watching that never even heard of this film. And this is with the way so many things go to the next one as quick as possible, really not many films become classics, to be honest, let alone cult classics. They get forgotten very quickly because there's such an onslaught of information and movies and different VOD streaming assets that, boom, it's in and out, in and out, in and out. See you later. So, but yeah, with that said, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.